In 2018, there were 65,104 individuals in Michigan who were literally homeless. That includes families with small children and unaccompanied youth. Many national studies and experts predict that the COVID-19 pandemic is going to lead to a significant increase in housing instability and homelessness. Michigan's eviction diversion program, which is funded by CARES, is set to expire at the end of the year, which will lead to a wave of evictions. If elected, what federal resources are you willing to commit to preventing evictions and homelessness?
Hello, everyone. I'm U.S. Senator Gary Peters. And in these trying times, with 1 in 5 households falling behind on rent through no fault of their own, Michigan families deserve better. And that's why your work is so important. So thank you for giving me an opportunity to answer your questions today. For your first question, it's clear that the administration has not done enough to provide resources and protection to help people remain in their homes. That's why I urge them to work with Congress in a bipartisan way to enact meaningful legislation to provide emergency assistance for the thousands of Michiganders to stay in their homes. And I insisted that this legislation include at least $100 billion in emergency rental assistance to provide housing security to families. I have also co-sponsored legislation that would establish a housing assistance fund to prevent mortgage defaults, foreclosures, and displacements of individuals and families.
Data tells us that within 18 months of emancipation or aging out, 40 to 50% of foster youth become homeless. Despite funding and programming offered through HUD, including the new Foster Youth to Independence initiative, youth with experience within foster care struggle to access these resources. Many times, the vouchers are only available in certain counties, and it's difficult for youth to navigate the process to apply for the funds, which are often not available. There are programs designed to prevent homelessness for foster youth, but program guidelines should be clarified and expanded to eliminate the barriers to access. Young people aging out of foster care on their own should be prioritized for housing support. What will you do to improve the accessibility for housing for youth with experience in foster care?
I'm proud to say that I'm a member of the Foster Youth Caucus, and I have valued our purpose of identifying and solving problems facing our foster youth. I introduced bipartisan legislation to help states identify and meet the needs of children who come into contact with both the child welfare and juvenile justice systems. I also co-sponsored the Housing Opportunity Through Modernization Act, which expanded family unification program housing choice voucher benefits available to youth who have left foster care and raised the maximum age of eligibility to 24 years old. As we continue through these difficult times, I'm going to continue to prioritize the mission of the Foster Youth Caucus, work to better address the needs and challenges facing these individuals.
Homelessness within public schools is often invisible. During 2017-2018 school year, Michigan Public Schools identified over 37,000 students who were homeless or at risk of becoming homeless. Students experiencing homelessness and housing insecurities graduate at a far lower rate than their peers. In 2018, and the graduation rate for all students was 81%, but students experiencing homelessness, it was only 57%. If elected, how will you support students experiencing homelessness and their families in efforts to secure and maintain safe, accessible housing and achieve academic success?
During my first year in the Senate, I helped pass long overdue legislation to reform K-12 education through the Every Student Succeeds Act, which President Obama signed into law. This legislation includes programs to support youth experiencing homelessness and authorizes federal funding to states through Title I for schools serving low-income students. Youth experiencing homelessness are at a disproportionately high risk for disabilities. And that's why I co-sponsored legislation to ensure the federal government is providing support for districts working tirelessly to carry out the necessary programs for students with special needs.
Hello, my name is Arielle. I am a young adult with experience in foster care. I attend Wayne State University and participate in their campus-based support program, CHAMPS. Fostering Success Michigan is a statewide initiative that focuses on post-secondary access and success for youth with experience in foster care. Education leading to successful career attainment increases resiliency and decreases the likelihood of homelessness, food insecurity, underemployment, and more. FSM also provides support for campus-based support programs like CHAMPS, but also resources and support for the students across the state. Failure to invest in these young people equates to higher social costs related to things like incarceration and public assistance. How are you willing to invest in and support post-secondary access and success for youth with experience in foster care in Michigan?
I'm part of a bipartisan group of members of Congress who support federal TRIO programs and higher education access for homeless youth and foster youth. These programs offer academic, financial, and cultural supportive services to help students prepare for and graduate from higher education program, and that's why I am consistently urging my colleagues on the Senate Appropriations Committee to provide robust funding for these TRIO programs.
We're in the middle of an affordable housing crisis. The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development defines affordable housing as a unit that a household can obtain for 30% or less of its gross income. The National Low-Income Housing Coalition annually reports the number of households that are cost burdened or paying more than 30% of their income on housing. In 2020, NLIHC found that there were only 9 counties in Michigan where a full-time worker earning minimum wage can afford to rent a 2-bedroom unit at fair market rate without being cost burdened. Nationally, the median Black earner earns nearly 27% less than the median white worker, which keeps Black families and children in a cycle of poverty without access to safe, appropriate housing. What's your plan to ensure that all families have affordable housing?
We must do all we can to ensure our families have access to affordable housing. I've been a strong advocate for the low-income housing tax credit, which has developed over 99,000 affordable homes and given benefits to over 230,000 low-income households. I've also co-sponsored legislation to expand this tax credit in an effort to increase affordable housing units by 500,000 over the next decade, making this the largest expansion ever of this tax credit. I have and I'll continue to fight for the Choice Neighborhoods program to support the revitalization of neighborhoods with concentrated poverty. Now, I know that was a lot of information, but the most important thing to remember is that you're doing incredible work, empowering communities and fighting homelessness. I have and will continue to do all I can to ensure that all Michiganders have a place to call home. Again, thank you for your time today, and please make sure that you get out and vote.